So I'm ready to add a bit more detailing because I still find that the cushion in the sub-D mode is still very organic, very rounded, okay? So for example, if I add another row of edges here at the bottom, I'm going to flatten even more, give it more a square shape here at the bottom of my cushion. So let's do that right now. I'm just going to press Shift Control at the same time and just select one edge like this, okay? So I just Control Shift and left click and select my edge, and I'm going to click on the sub-D tools, the select edge ring. So I'm going to left click on that, and it's going to do the loop again, go all the way around, and I'm going to do the same as previously. So I'm just going to select insert edge, and you can see that now by bringing an edge closer to the bottom part, I'm making it more square. All right, and there you have it. So that's the principle behind the sub-Ds. The more details you start adding to your model, the more the more you can sculpt it. But I always advise that at the beginning you start with a very small amount of edges and vertices, and little by little you start adding more and more of these edges to refine your organic shapes. Okay, so I'm going to press the tab key to go back into the mesh model, and this is what you get. All right, so let's say I want to do the stitches that go around. So for example, here I've got here this loop that I'm showing with my my cursor that goes all the way around like that. Okay, and I'm going to create a basic stitching path basically. So I'm going to press Control Shift and I'm going to double click here. By double clicking, it's going to propagate my selection all the way to that corner. Now it doesn't know which path I want to take, so I'm going to press double shift and double click again here, so it's going to propagate up to that other corner at the back of my backrest. Control Shift, double click, it's going to go all the way up, and double shift, Shift Control and double click, and you've got the loop that is selected. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bevel to it. I'm going to add more edges. So by doing a bevel, the bevel tool is here. It's this one, bevel mesh, or sub-D it's called. And it's going to create an edge, a loop edge on either sides of that highlighted edge that you see. So let me demonstrate it right now for you. And again, I advise you to do this when you're about to do the bevels and all that. I suggest you do it when it's in the mesh model, not as a sub-D model. So don't hesitate to press the tab key. And now with the bevel function, you can see that I'm creating two loops on either side of that original highlighted edge that I had, and I'm just gonna, choose whatever size I want and just left click like that. So now I've created that bevel, and if I press the tab key to go back into the sub-D mode, you can see that now the corners are a lot sharper. Okay, so maybe let me press the tab key again, and now I'm going to press Control Shift, double click, and now it recognizes the loop, how it goes all the way around like that. And what I can do is with the handles on my gumball, if you remember, this is the scale tool, those handles. I'm going to press Shift to do a 3D scale. So Shift key and left click on one of the handles. Doesn't matter which one, I choose the green one in my case. And now I'm doing a 3D scale, so I'm just bringing it more inwards. I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but let me exaggerate so that you can see what's going on. And I'm just bringing it inwards into my cushion, like so. Just a slight amount, okay? So now if I press the tab key, you can see something happening, but I need to do more actually. So I'm gonna press Shift Control, double click to select my loop, and let me bring it now just with the red axis of my gumball. I'm just going to bring it inwards, push it inside like that, so that, there you go. So let's see what it does. There you go. So now you start to see a crease happening here. Okay, so if I want to add more crease to it, I can still press Control Shift, double click for this loop here, like that, and let me zoom in, and I'm going to create another little bevel. So I'm going to click on the bevel function and just make a slight little bevel like that. So I'm adding a little by little more and more details, and then I press Shift and you can see what's going on here. All right, I'm going to press Shift again to go back to the mesh model. I'm going to press Control Shift, double click, and select my loop. Zoom out to see that, to make sure that you have the loop correctly selected. And then I just zoom back in, and I'm going to do it again, another bevel. So I'm going to click on the bevel tool and just add a small amount of detail like that. And then I press Tab key to go back into my mode, and that's how I create basically the stitches on my cushion. Very quick, very simple. Whereas in using the traditional Rhino tools, I would have to select my path, then create a section, then have to sweep it, and the results are not as good as the Subdies in my opinion when it comes to creating cushions. So now what I want to do is maybe give a bit more of a plush look to my side of the cushion. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press Shift Control, and I'm going to select the faces this time. So I'm going to click one at a time like that, and I'm going to select that face like this. Make sure you don't select the edge but the face, and almost there. So I'm going to select these faces, and I'm going to leave these ones unselected like that. And I'm just going to, with the gumball active, you know, just use the red axis and just push it a bit more outside like that. And you can also press Control Shift and then just left click to deselect these ones, for example. So I'm going to deselect these ones, and go back to my gumball and just drag it a bit more like that. There you have it. Okay, and then you can press the Tab key to go back to your mesh model and just make sure that it doesn't look too messy, that it looks nicely, that the vertices are nicely aligned and all that stuff. For example, here you can see that if I put myself in the left view, for example, you can see that you could always correct a bit how your vertices are distributed here. So I'm going to press Control Shift and just left click for this vertex, that vertex, and that vertex. Whoops, sorry about that. So let's do it again. I'm going to click on the white handle. Let's see what it does with Align to Object. Doesn't do much. But I'm just going to move them like that. It's not mandatory, you don't need to do that, but I think it's good practice to try and have it as clean as possible, your mesh model, because as you start adding more and more details, you know, it's going to be sometimes messy. So always double check, you know, your model to make sure that it looks good. Here it's not so bad. There you go. Maybe I could select these ones and just drag it a bit further like that. Let's choose these ones. Deselect first, and these ones. Just to move it a little bit like that, and so on. So I could do also the bottom, but let's leave it like that. And let's see if I press Tab, that's what it looks like. Okay, so this is the basic principle of how to do, you know, very quick, simple looking stitches. And what I could also try, for example, I could select, so I'm press Control Shift, and I'm going to double click to have the loop. This time it's only faces that I'm selecting, as you can see here. And I'm going to do the same over here. So I'm going to Control Shift and double click to select that loop. And let's see, I can press with the gumball. Let's zoom in to see at the stitch, to have a look at the stitches. And I'm going to press Shift key and select one of the handles. And I'm just going to try and see if I can modify it, you know, a little bit. No, it's a bit too much. This is not as good. Okay, so maybe I'm going to leave it like that then. Or maybe select that loop. And let's see if I want to bring it more outside. Like that. There you go. I just want to make it a bit tighter. That's all. Okay, so anyways, you see the principle behind this, you know. So do that, and we'll see you for the next video. Thank you.